go to our action items today, which is just one on the agenda for us, which is to approve the September 4th, 2024 meeting minutes. And I'll entertain a motion for approval. Thank you. In a second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is our information items. First is the PSTA actions during the states of emergency. Multiple states of emergency.
Well, yeah.
And Brad Miller will give us that update.
Good morning. So, as you know, PSTA works very closely with the Pinellas County Emergency Operations Center to provide a lot of evacuation trips and coordinate all of our services during a hurricane kind of emergency. It was suggested, and I think I've talked to a number of board members that your cities and Pinellas County, they have each of you either maybe in your charter or your rules and regulations that, or maybe you even have take an action item to grant your city manager certain rules or authority during an emergency, during a governor or a state declared state of an emergency. PSA doesn't have anything like that in our rules and regulations. We have a very detailed emergency plan that you approve. It's required by the state to have one, and we have a great detail about what we're supposed to do, at PSTA, how we're evacuate the buses, and all the things we do. And we don't do anything, differently really during a hurricane, other than coordinate decision making through the Pinellas Emergency Operations Center. But I put this on the agenda just to have a discussion about whether, I don't know what this situation might be in the future, but since we only meet once a month, whether we should create some kind of rule or some kind of procedure for me updating either the chair or the executive committee or something like that. I guess, the Pinellas County Commission, they vote. They have a meeting right before this. They meet regularly, and they'll call an emergency meeting, and they'll vote to grant the county manager. They'll waive procurement requirements, which is a state, which is allowed during an emergency, and then basically delegate their county manager to make decisions with. And I don't think there's really nothing. There's no nothing that the board would need to do. Have a meeting like that. We basically follow what we work totally within the Pinellas EOC.
Right.
But just thought maybe we should have a discussion about it, and I try to send out emails if we are like suspending service,
Right.
or anything like that.
Or if there's an accident.
Yeah. But like with the hurricane, so I try to make sure the board knows
Right.
if we're the plan on when we're going to suspend services and restart them or suspend fares. My goal is, of course, that we do nothing that we can't get reimbursed by FEMA later. Anyway,
Hopefully.
or FTA, as Harry said.
So I'll start, because I've got a few
Yeah.
questions. So PSTA follows the state of emergency declaration as determined by the county.
Correct.
You fall under that, so that covers that part. As far as the authority that is provided to you in the state of emergency, that's there for a reason. And I don't see where it would be necessary to call a meeting to make, to vote on certain things. I mean, there's just a certain protocol during the state of emergency.
Yeah.
I think about how the city of St. Petersburg handles that, and what we usually do is the city administrator will contact each city council member separately to let us know when certain decisions are made that they feel that we should be aware of, and like what a cost is. It's not to get our permission or approval or anything like that. It's really just about keeping us informed. And
Yeah.
so I would think that would be enough for me. I would think that most people would agree. I don't know. But I think it's more a question of, are you thinking executive committee or all board members?
Well, if we wanted to make any kind of decision, it would have to be a public meeting.
Right,
Right.
but if we can't have that because we're in a state of emergency, then you make the decisions,
Yeah,
right?
and then I'll tell all 15.
But for me, like thinking about my role, and I would love Commissioner Fig Sanders as the chair of city council to weigh in on this as well, if you want.
Well, I was thank you for that. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, because we're in a state of emergency, I don't need to be I don't think the full board needs to. I will leave that in the executive committee level, but following protocol, what did you do before? That worked. I wouldn't want to try to formalize anything else that we can't enforce because we have to follow the county. So
Right.
that part has already been established, so I don't know what we can do more in detail that would be different versus just being efficient in communication.
I don't think there's really a problem. It's like, it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. But I just thought, well, maybe there should be some kind of reference to requiring, I mean, I do this anyway. I think I even called the chair, and I sent an email to the full board about our game plan for Helene.
Are you kind of looking for maybe a little backup?
Yeah,
Are you looking that, hey, if I do this, it's giving you that backup that I do it, I'm gonna do it, but I just need some backup from us saying, yeah,
Kinda.
do your job.
yeah.
Like, you notify everybody, we all say, we love you, go, and you kinda, it's just giving you a little backup from all of
Yeah.
us. It's not really asking our permission or that, it's just, hey, I just need some backup.
I think it would be helpful, yeah, if there was something in writing, a rule, that the CEO has coordinate with the chair or the executive committee, unless
Just
we.
take some weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're going, you're just wanting some backup from us.
And that would help with the EOC too.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see something on the agenda that I don't hear an ask actually being articulated. I feel like it's kind of like, let's bring this to the committee, but let's hash it out. I don't, because you mentioned procurement limits being lifted in cities like we've done, so I'm not sure exactly what it is you're asking.
Well, I really just wanted to have a discussion with you all about it now, and then if you thought it was something
Well, I'm
you were open
personally-
to, then I would put something in writing.
I'm personally in favor of anything that creates more and more transparency between the board. That's,
Yeah.
Whether it's just informative or requesting action on the board's behalf, just keeping everything on the table, I think is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It's something that makes you feel better, and that's how you'd like to do it. I support you, and if that's what you'd like to do, then by all means. I mean,
Vice Chair Saraki.
So, Brad, I just want to tell you, I think you're doing a great job, number one. Number two, the way you're communicating with me, as far as email and communicating when there was a state of emergency, was absolutely perfect. I don't think you should change a thing, but if you feel that, when you called Gina the chair, I think that was something that I didn't know, that I learned today, that I think that's important, that you keep her updated. But, whatever you want to do, I think you're doing a great job as it is.
It would just be an opportunity to have documented that's our procedure.
Okay.
What we're already doing.
Yeah. So I agree with Commissioner Reed. I hear what you're saying, and I'm thinking if there's anything in writing, in draft version that you would like us to review, just as a backup, having something in writing, I think that would work if you presented it to the executive committee.
Yeah.
For moving forward, but I agree with Commissioner Serraki. As long as you're making the phone calls and the board is aware of everything that's going on, I'm okay with it, but I also understand your comfort level as leadership and wanting to make sure that you have that coverage for making decisions during a time like that. I mean, I see it, I hear it.
Yeah.
But I agree with Commissioner Reed on that one. I think that's what you're saying, you just want backups.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was, what prompted this really was after Hurricane Helene, there was a request from the city of St. Petersburg to have PSDA run fare-free because people lost their cars. I thought it was a good idea, but I wasn't sure at that time that we could get reimbursed by FEMA for it. Then the city offered to compensate PSDA for the lost revenue. So I was like, great, let's do it. So then we did it for Helene for 2 weeks. Then Milton hit, and then at the time, operationally, it was going to be kind of a challenge to charge, because I don't think our bus drivers all know where the city limit of St. Petersburg is, and it gets to Pinellas Park or other cities. So I don't know how that really went for those 2 weeks, but we gave maps and stuff, but it would have been easier if it had been countywide. And so, so we called the County Emergency Operations Center and told them about it, and they said that they didn't, at the time, they didn't want to do it. They were mostly worried about services to the beach because there was issues that the sheriff was dealing with out there, as I recall. Then Milton hit, and then the county asked PSDA to be fare-free for 2 weeks countywide. And we talked to FDA, and they would reimburse us. So then it kind of all got cleared up by Milton, and then that's what happened. But we did all that, and I know the PSA board is very interested in our fares and all that kind of thing. So I thought, well, it would be nice to have a little bit of backup or something in writing that would say, okay, that I would keep you informed of that.
I have a question.
Yeah, but first, is this a discussion that is going to be brought to the board to get additional board members' input?
Yeah, well,
On this, or is
my
this
first step,
something-
I would come back to the executive committee with something in writing, with
Yeah,
a
so-
written rule
I'm
procedure.
thinking, look at other cities in the county and what that, or have Alan come up with something that.
Yeah, I already
Then,
talked to him.
yeah, I would like to see
Mhm.
something like that, and I think that helps to cover you, and it gives clarity to everyone on how you proceed during those times.
Question on it, as you bring it up in the Helene and the Milton, and now we've had this hurricane. Would it be worth the legislative committee or you, or as we go to Tallahassee, maybe putting something in there that is that when there is a state of emergency declared for our area, that we could go fare-free, but then it would fall reimbursement for FEMA or that, because we would fall under that EOC window?
I think it is.
moving forward.
It
You know what I
is.
mean? That then you wouldn't have anything, and then we could say we would always get reimbursed for it because it would kind of be something put into the state that the areas that are declared state of emergency and at a time of landfall or whatever, that it would open that window for fare free for people who lose everything and they need to get out, or you're doing evacuations, and if they declare evacuations, I think maybe, you know what I mean, then there would never be any
The question, yeah.
if we kind of look forward, moving forward, that we put that somewhere in the legislative type window. Does that make sense? Am I saying
Yeah.
it right?
I mean, that is an idea. That's a good idea.
We never
Um,
expected it here. I'm sure other areas maybe already have something in there, but we never expected it in our area. And I don't know if it's in the state anywhere, but I think it's something that, it's the perfect opportunity to be a forego, hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're asking for something along the lines of, in the event of a state of emergency is declared, the CEO automatically has authority to waive fares as he sees fit?
And it's
Something
covered
along
by
those lines?
and then it would be
Yeah,
reimbursement
I
because
think
it's,
It's a bill.
well, I'm talking from us, within just
but as we go
PSTA,
talking
not,
to Tallahassee.
yeah, I mean, that could be a bill
For
for
the board.
It
Tallahassee.
might be, have to be a bill.
That's what I'm talking about,
To waive
yeah.
the fares, yeah, and seek reimbursement for the,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Senate sponsor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We could get that. We
I'll
probably
put
could
some
get
stuff,
that.
yeah.
And for now, you'll bring us back some language.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One thing I think it is important though is not to, is to put in the policy that it would be always coordinated through the Pinellas County Emergency Operations Center. Because I don't think it's good emergency management to make decisions outside of
Right.
Right.
the EOC
Yeah, absolutely.
is during an emergency. Yeah.
So something that gives you more backup to do what you feel you need to do during an EOC or a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right, tell
Okay.
Alan, get to work.
Yeah.
We'll get to work.
Document going.
Alan's already drafting some.
Bet he is.
Yeah. Okay, good.
All right. Next is the draft of the December board agenda. I'm sure we can get through that pretty quickly.
Yes, we have our committee meetings on November 20th, and then we have our board meeting, our last board meeting of 2024 on December 4th. And right now, it is, there's a couple of pretty significant items as action items, and all this will go to the Finance Committee and Planning Committee. I'm very happy to announce we have a tentative union agreement with our largest union
Wow.
that James Bradford was able to lead. And the union, the SEIU, this is our largest union with the bus drivers and the mechanics, some 300 and 400 people, is voting on November 13th. So when this goes to the Finance Committee and then to the board, the union will have hopefully already approved it. So that'll be on the agenda to ratify that 3-year agreement. It's past due. It was the last one expired on October 1st.
Was it a 2-year last one? It's been 3 years
It was a
already?
3-year, but then in the middle, after 6 months, we amended it to increase their pay and the
Oh, that's right.
peak of the pandemic or inflation kind of thing, to keep steady. This is a 3-year deal, 3.5, 3.75?
3.5, 3.75, 3.75.
Okay. For the top operator wage, or the top step pay increases. And then the other final thing that got it over the hump was a new PSTA-wide for employees, but for the union, 457 retirement, for like a 401k retirement matching program. Dollar for dollar match by PSTA as the employer up to the first $300. So you get a $300 match if you put in $300 to your retirement.
Per year or per month?
year, per year. It's not enormous, but it's a start.
Something.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I would say when you look at the number of people who participate in the program, it's very small compared to the number of employees that we have. It's about a third of our employees participate in 457. Out of those who participate, a lot of them do not contribute a significant amount of money, so this will be important to them.
Yeah.
And the union had introduced the idea, and what I really appreciated about it is, you know, we do a lot with our health wellness. This is financial wellness for our employees. And when you're contributing pre-tax, there's certain points where you don't even really see a difference in your take-home pay.
Mhm.
So I really appreciated them bringing this up, and we'll move forward to do the best we can with it.
So I have one more question. So is it like Fidelity Investments? Is it something
Oh.
like a broker that you use for the union, or does the union manage it?
No, we use Mission Square here at PSTA for our 457 program.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
Yeah, all employees are covered by the Florida retirement system, and then this is their choice. If they want to put an additional money toward their retirement into this 457 plan.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other item, is our final contract amendment to our architect and engineering firm, CDM Smith, for the Clearwater Transit Center to get us to and through construction. Abhishek will be presenting it to the Finance Committee.
All right.
And maybe give a little synopsis to Commissioner Albritton at the Planning Committee 10 minutes later. And then 7C, Bonnie will be bringing forth 3 contract amendments with our existing partners to operate the new St. Pete Clearwater Airport to Clearwater Beach Airport shuttle that we're hopefully going to launch next spring break in the springtime. And so this would be amendments to our PSA access providers, Transdev and the taxi company, and then the software we use for that, used for the paratransit software. They have a module for airport shuttles. It's basically the same thing as an app or an ability to call a phone number and then make a reservation for the ride. You tell when your airplane's coming in, and then you get a ride to your hotel or Airbnb at the beach. So that will be presented as well. We have some really good, we have a presentation at the beginning of the meeting planned with a company that did an onboard survey of our riders and their customer satisfaction results. That was presented already to the Planning Committee, and that was really positive. Our customers love us, which is good. And then this says Jacob Levuka, but I think he's not going to be there. I think it'll be our good friend Darden Rice over there. She will be presenting an update on the community bus plan. So that is tentatively what the schedule's going to look like. And then we just talked at the legislative committee about having Debbie also highlight our very efficient operation and our compliance with state regulations on a low administrative cost percentage. We'll do that too.
Great. Any questions about the?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Thank you.
The agenda, okay, great. Did you have anything else for the executive committee today, any other business?
Don't think so.
All right.
Other than to remind you to come on
Committee members
Friday
have
to
any other
the
business?
Steak and lobster, right?
birthday party.
Yeah.
Steak and lobster. Well, I know you'll be there then.
It's a
Well,
distillery. I don't think it's a steak.
The
Better.
next meeting of the executive committee will be on January 8th at 10 a.m. And I hope you all have a wonderful time, because today is my last day as the chair of the executive committee.
True.
Gene, you did a great job.
Well,
Congratulations.
Learned so much from you. Thank you.
Might not. You might have January, because we're waiting until January to have that nominating committee to do the slate of officers. So you might be
They're
here to
slow.
do
You'll
it.
have to chair
The
the
January
January
slow.
meeting.
I retract my applause.
Jeez.
Well, I guess I'll show up. That'll be, great to have our next board meeting and then a little break and then get into the new year with new officers and
Yeah.
see what's next for us.
Yeah. The-
Never a
Lots
dull
of interesting.
moment on the PSTA board.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, thanks, everyone. We're adjourned.
Thank you. This is typically how long one of these lasts.
Yep.
Got like
I don't know.